When I first got into these engines, I never thought we would get this far. I thought that 400 to 450 wheel horsepower would be about as far as we would ever take it. And I figured there was just no reason to push it any harder than that when other platforms like the LS or a big block Chevy existed. Why would you invest any more than the bare minimum into something like this when you could have a platform that had way more aftermarket support and way more proven performance? After doing our first swap, I quickly came to the conclusion that I was wrong. This engine has proven to be extremely tough and reliable, and frankly, the little engine that could prove to us that it was capable of more, much, much more. So we pushed harder. We made over 600 horsepower with a completely stock engine. I'm talking sealed, nothing taken apart, just slap a turbo on it, throw 26 pounds of boost at it, and it made 605 wheel horsepower. Then we took that same engine and installed a set of camshafts from Schneider Performance in order to reduce the torque and get it to rev out a little more, and it made over 800 wheel horsepower with stock connecting rods. Then we tried another combination, the Datsun, where we installed a set of forged connecting rods, and we found that the stock pistons like to collapse around the 870 wheel horsepower mark. And it was only inevitable that we would eventually do a combo like this one with forged rods and pistons. And today we're going to push this thing harder than we ever have before. After seeing 920 horsepower on the very first pull, I knew that things were going to go well today. And it was just a matter of make more boost. Now, this may be your first time tuning in to one of our videos, so let me give you a brief overview of what we have. This car is what we call the All-American Supra. It is a 2010 Camaro SS that we removed the LS3 from and installed a Vortec 4200. These engines only came in SUVs, and it was sort of the last dying breath of the Chevy Inline 6. Now, I am a big-time Chevy Inline 6 guy. I used to have a 64 Nova that I was trying to boost, and I've always wanted to get my hands on one of these engines. I'm also a big fan of the Toyota Supra, so we thought, let's build our own. The engine was actually from a friend of ours, Jeff Weiser. Big thanks to him, by the way. It features a set of Molnar rods, some diamond pistons, and a head that was ported by our friends at Schneider Performance. It has some Schneider Racing reground camshafts, their most aggressive grind, the 66RH. Our cam install kit, some Crowler valve springs, some ARP head studs and main studs, reused the factory main girdle, main caps, crankshaft, and it's still using an OEM head gasket. As far as the outside of the engine, it is a set of 7/8" up and forward LS headers that we cut apart and welded back together to build a turbo manifold out of. and a set of billet intake runners with a MazWorks intake plenum. The oil pan is a billet oil pan rail that we had machined by Dave at PC Machine Works, and a fabricated oil sump. The harmonic damper is a BHJ harmonic damper, which is revised for high RPM operation. And if you think about it, the mods to this engine are really no different than what you would do to any other engine to make it work at high horsepower application. So with that, let's get back onto the dyno. Before this dyno session, my dad and I both made a prediction as to how much boost it was going to take to get this thing over 1,000 horsepower. My dad had figured it would take around 36 to 37 pounds of boost, and I was at 38 pounds of boost. Turns out, we were both wrong. That last pull just made 39 pounds of boost, and we were so painfully close. The only way we were going to get there is with ignition timing. Something that I'm usually very conservative with. So let's do it. Overall, we had a fantastic day at the dyno. When I saw 920 something horsepower on the very first pull, I knew it was going to be a good day. It took a few more pulls than I was really expecting it to. We had a few mishaps here and there, but as far as making the horsepower, I really have no complaints. And I really think that this shows you how capable this engine is. It belted out 1,004 wheel horsepower with relative ease. I can't tell you how many times I was told you can't do that, or that won't work, or there's no way it's going to make that amount of power. And frankly, it is great to have that monkey off my back. If I were to make any changes to this combination, we need a bigger turbo. That back pressure was getting out of hand. I don't think the compressor is holding us back. I think the turbine is. You could see the exhaust back pressure getting worse and worse as we made more pulls, but the intake air temps weren't running away on us. So clearly, I think we need more turbine. Another thing that I'm very impressed by is the intercooler. The intercooler is a 800 horsepower core from XS Power. It's really nothing special, and that thing was a rock star. It pretty much held the same intake air temps all day, and frankly, it's like half the size of the one I just built for my Fairmont, so that really tells you how overkill the one I did for that one is. I really should have done this in my video where I went and ate with my Fairmont, but I really want to take a second here to thank everyone that helped us to get to this point. I'm going to list a bunch of names here. Dave from PC Machine Works, Brad from Snake Eater Performance, Mike from Monkey Fab Garage, Matt Happel from the Sloppy Mechanics YouTube channel, Ben from Artec Performance. The folks over at Canformance also helped us out with some coil adapter parts. Big thanks to Black Sheep Industries for the blow-off valve, Jeff Weiser for the help with the damper and of course the short block. And I also have a bunch of friends to thank as well. Big thanks to Dustin and his dad who helped us out with the paint on the car, John and Jonathan Rose, Mark from the Buck Does It YouTube channel, and I hope I haven't missed anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. And obviously I have to say a big thanks to my mom, dad, and brother for their help as well. So now that we have made the power, we're probably going to back some of that timing that we put in there at the end out of the car, and I think it's time to make this thing go on 8. So make sure that you look forward to that in future videos. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.